Yes.
So can you tell me a little about your growing up years?
Mm, My father was in a transferable job, and so he used to get transferred. So we used to change schools. So my primary schooling was done in a girls' school. It is in Sukhchar in West Bengal. And it is called Satadal Balika Vidya. In fact, it was established by one of the foremost Congress leaders those times, Sammata Ghosh. Then I moved to in class 5 to a school called Sivnath High School in 1972. It is near the Ganges, and that is the Naxalite period. And this all the walls will be decorated with a Lean Biao slogan, the Chine chairman, Namade chairman. Then all the fans, are all, fan blades are all turned into lotus. And that is the scenario in that school. That the only one old teacher there teaching, that was that teacher was Baidyanath Babu. And because no other teacher was ready to teach, so he used to take classes of mathematics from post 2-3 periods together till he used to get tired. Rest of the time you visit in that Samsan Ghat in Ganga Ganges. It was at the beside the Ganges and all these places. And you come back, there will be a lot of staccato firings and all in the night. So that was how I grew up in Kharda. In From class 6 onwards, I was in Rada Ramakrishna Mission. In fact, my sister asked me to apply for the schools. The people told it's a very good school. So we were not much sure what is the school and all. And I could only solve mathematics papers, and English and Bengali was simply beyond my reach. In fact, I could not explain that Ramakrishna Dev's quote, Jato mat tato poth. I just couldn't understand what is that. Uh, I because I was taken the entrance examination because I scored full marks in maths and zero in other two subjects. And from there, I passed out. I went to, I was a moderate student, but then, it came to examination. So I was told, if I stand in top 3, then I'll be given free books. So I had no other way but to send. Finally, I stood 8th in the board. Then I went to Nandapur Ramakrishna Mission. In Ramakrishna Mission, in 2 years, I had I again stood 8th in higher secondary. Those days, higher secondary marks were very less because if you want to hear my marks, it was 78%. All of you laugh. But that is what Alapan also got 1 year senior to me. I think he got 79. And only saving grace was that I scored 200 out of 200 in maths. Jyoti Basu personally praised me in a function and because it seems after Satyan Bose I got that score, full marks. And I stood first in that, joint entrance examination. Then I had a 82nd All India rank in IIT. In fact, I went to IIT, and then after I found the cost was very prohibitive. My father cannot pay. So I came back. So I came to Jadavpur, and then in fact that time Manindranath Chakravarti was the vice chancellor, and the P. Kundu was the registrar. He was the head of, he was from electronics department. and somehow they thought, I am suitable for electronics. So I was put in that branch, and then really never had to regret for coming to Jadavpur University. Jadavpur University had everything what IIT Kharagpur lacked. A very free environment, and an environment, where the study is not the only thing. The so-called mugging or the scoring marks was not the only thing. You can debate, you can, go to film society, you can, I don't know that the canteen is still there, Satyan Das, and the arts faculty canteen and all those things. And we met very fabulous people, in fact, all the batchmates there. Now they are now NIT directors, IIT directors, and lot of who's who, film stars and everything. Now these are that Jadavpur environment, was a fabulous environment. It gives you confidence that you can sail alone. In fact, I passed out. In fact, I had 3 jobs. The lowest paying was ISRO job. Highest paying was Hindustan Computer Limited. It was almost double the salary what ISRO was paying. And I had a GATE score of around 20 rank. So I was in School of Automation. So I went to buy ticket for Bangalore. But for some crazy thought that, okay, the GATE score is valid for 3 years. I can take a chance with ISRO. I came back. So I bought ticket for Ahmedabad. So I came to Ahmedabad. And to my surprise, I found in Ahmedabad, in those days ISRO, I was only 2 BTech people was recruited. They were not recruiting anybody less than Tech. And of the 2 BTech, one was me, one was Santanu Sinha from Kanpur IIT. He rose to become CTO of very big companies. And that they will recruit IIT MTech, IIT BTech, and because I was a non-IIT, so I was given I was given a department which they thought, nobody else is ready to take. That is the microwave remote sensing. And that is how I became radar scientist. I became synthetic aperture radar specialist, and then rose to become the director of Space Application Center, rose to become director of Physical Research Laboratories. And people used to laugh, why a person with a BTech degree only can go up to the ladder so much. But then, it's all because that confidence we got that we can do anything, anytime. And this is what that Jadavpur University teaches you, that the environment makes you very much confident.
So for a high school student aspiring to join ISRO, what is the most direct way?
Actually, those times, ISRO has never had this attraction. ISRO hardly has done anything that time. Maybe lost one or couple of satellites. Hardly, actually, and the pay was not very attractive. And very few people were really willing to come, or they were willing to take. They only took from IIT's campus interview. So that is how they used to take that. But today, if you ask me that best way, I have been the recruitment chief and all of the ISRO. I sent question papers year after years, and I found many people cursing my questions in their written exams. the internet, and best way of joining ISRO is to have a right attitude to work. Actually, our interviews, in fact, if you see the question paper, at least when I used to set them, there is to be all figures, that it will test your understanding. We don't want to test, how good you remember the equations, how good you remember the mathematical processes and all of those things. Because that anyway, as and when you need, you will learn it. But what we needed that time, what we need that from them, a right attitude to work. In fact, all the interview time, the questions were asked in a such a way that will judge a person from the way he approaches the subject. Need not necessarily be the correct answer. So in fact, when I was chief of ISRO's recruitment, I had put maximum emphasis on taking the person with the right attitude, because all who are passing by the engineering, they have a basic intelligence. You cannot deny that. Okay, somebody scored less, somebody scored high, and all of this. In fact, sometimes I used to prefer the people with a less scorer. The reason, you would have experimented with life more than the person who is the highest scorer. He would have spent all the time. The person with a slightly less scoring, that means he has done this study and he has also experimented with life. So in your experimentation with a new thing comes with your attitude to experiment with your own life also. Those who cannot experiment with their own life, they cannot do experimentation with the right amount of science, because after all, it is nothing that somebody has told you to do this way, that way, and all, and you will implement it. There is nothing like that. You have to discover, you have to write your own, and you have to build a new thing. That is the crux of the space technology.
So are you saying?
And I just a minute. I will just try to also advise today. Today the scenario is changing. A lot of private startups are coming. I would prefer that young people, in our time, we didn't have that option of the startups. We didn't have the option, even getting a loan for a scooter itself a big thing. Forget about making industries and all. I think that I would encourage people that given an option, try to build your own business, your own industry. And who says the space industry is only the best industry? Every industry which brings out quality products, product after product, is as good as a space industry. After all, the space, what we do, we only bring out quality product. We do not bring something extraordinary product.
Are you saying that imagination has a huge role to play in innovation?
I always give an example. That, our left brain work differently. The left brain approaches a problem in a very logical way, and then it goes from bottom up approach, from an idea, then device a product. One of the best example of logic, a product developed by a logic is by God. It is the camel. It is a product developed by logic. And that then first thinks of a product, and then that is called a imagination. You see that when a poet like a Jivanananda Das, right? I don't think he would have thought of so much explanations. He would have put a few stanzas and all and I promised mine. And all the honor students and all will be fighting over in examination after exam, making big explanations of the logics and the philosophy behind all poetry. So that is what the right brain does. It imagines a product, then creates and then sells. Innovation is a both. That you have to make a product which is workable, which is reliable, and that is where the logic comes. The engineering science comes to make it a product which has to be attractive, which has to be novel, and which has to be appealing to people, and it will be easy to use. It comes from imagination. So you need a training in both imagination as well as logical deduction.
What are some of the most memorable projects that you've worked on?
Yes, that one of the best. I am known all over the world, making the radar imaging satellite. It was in 1999, and actually APJ Abdul Kalam came into SAC and exhorting us to make a radar. And because that time that we had this war with Pakistan, a small war, and we have to equip ourselves. What we do, to build a radar. In ISRO that time, I will not say not only just ISRO, it is in India. It is somehow in our ingrained. If something is not done by Western people, then we believe that we cannot do that. It has to be done first by somebody, and we can then repeat. And you look at all the ISRO thing, launchers. Somebody has done a launcher, then we made a similar to that. We might have done our way, but and somebody made a camera. Americans, Russians, and all fellows have made cameras, so you made camera similar to that. We have not, for some reason, we in our blood, making anything new is we lose confidence. That is it. And I remember I put up a 3-page note, and I put up a note to M. Rangan. And to Rangan, I wrote at the last line, it will be made by brown people and India. And everybody laughed. They say, what? And I wanted to make a radar which is better than the best. And nobody was against. But but when you keep such an aim, you will see that normally, if your aim is low, there will be a lot of senior people will come and they will nudge you to go. Then I will take credit at the end. But it was such a difficult job because we have to make an active array antenna. It will have it will have a lot of new avant-garde things. I thought many fellows told, you are a foolish fellow. You want to build in India. We do not know how to make MMICs, and we grew up, let's say, GETTEC foundry. It was getting abundant, and a foundry which is workable for the space. And we made one active array, and it has a 99% components were sourced from India. We had our own digital chips. We had our own ASICs to control. In fact, it is a computer which is it was a sensor which were controlled by 314 computers working in parallel, and it used in a very new things. That first time it put a hybrid polarimetry. a concept which is now has been adopted by all space agencies and all radar suppliers. It first time brought out a concept of a high azimuth length spotlight. That the spotlights are imaging was to be restricted even those days by 1 kilometer or 5 by 5. We were there to bring a spotlight imaging from 10 by 100 kilometers. It is a new concept called a sliding spotlight, and on which I have a patent. And I was instrumental testing it. You see that a system which has almost 1,400 subsystems. There was a 30-kilometer cables. There was almost 6,000 connectors. And such a system, everything has to work flawlessly. And imagine that when you test it within some equipment operating with AC, and then there is a AC leakage in that system, the whole system would have burnt out. And we used to be so what I banned there to bringing any external equipment. That system was designed to test itself. That it was itself a spectrum analyzer. It was a group delay measurement system. It was having amplitude measurement systems. It was that digital recorder, and external connection was to an optical connectivity. And that is how we made a very safe testing. In fact, the first time that testing was done, and whenever it was launched, that everybody, even NASA chief Charles Bolden, he himself, when he met me in Washington, D.C., he took me aside. He told Tapan, did you make the SAR at such a low cost as I am hearing? Actually, the similar SAR cost in international market, something like 3,000 crores. And we built it around less than 200 crores. I think somewhere around 192 crores. And we made it everything in India. And he says that I want to see this lab. And this is the first time a NASA chief came after 3 months. He simply almost for half an hour wandered around the lab where the radar was built. And he was amazed that its near-field test facility was built. In fact, I have that pleasure that first time we have built a near-field test facility based on time gating concept. So that there is all the scatterings from the nearby objects are eliminated because they come at a different time. And when I say time, it is a nanosecond order. And that is how we could make it. And it has given me very satisfaction. But that another one I really prize myself, that is making a scatterometer. Why I am telling you? The first climate quality scatterometer in the world was built by Byteam. It's a simple instrument, but it saved so many lives. I remember that it was triggered by in 1999. I was caught in the Odisha cyclone. In fact, I went to my sister's place in Baluga and then got caught in that Odisha. I have seen the devastation and the death. When I came back, then I found only thing that the cyclone prediction, everything that we are not able to measure the wind speed over the ocean. There were American system, but they were all regarded as a very trade secret. And built it. And we built it, and that is the first climate quality. It is regarded as a climate quality better than JPLs by JPL scientists. And because of this radar from 2009 onwards, you will see there was a lot of huge cyclones have come. Aila has come in Bengal. Even today, these cyclones have come. you will see there is that all the cyclone landfall was predicted very precisely within plus minus 10 kilometers. It is possible because of the series of scatterometer my team developed and flying it, because these scatterometers actually measure the wind speed. And the cyclone forms a vortex. In that vortex, there is a differential wind speed for both sides, or in fact all the sides. And from the differential wind speeds, that a high wind speed has a low pressure, low wind speed has a high pressure. So whichever side is a high wind speed, the cyclone moves in those directions. So it makes cyclone's prediction that where it is going to hit, what will be its trajectory, is a very precise. And because of this very precision, that the government can now shift people only from the path. Okay, rest of the fellows will get damaged, the trees will fall and all. Been minimized. You look at the recent cyclone, there is hardly any death, and people have moved the animals even, that for villagers, that the animals, the livestock is a very important possession, and they're the source of earning, and they could move those livestock. So that you could have seen the TV, there's a huge damages have occurred. Land, road, all got washed away, inundated. But you will not see that the dead bodies floating in water and all. What I saw in 1999 Orissa cyclone, the cattle and human being both are floating together. It was a grotesque sight. I hope this particular payload, in my opinion, it's so much gratifying that it saves so many lives.
So right from pitching to the launch, how does like a big mission like the Mars mission work? What is the entire process?
Actually, I'll tell you, no mission is a big mission, no mission is a small mission. It is the whatever technology goes to Mars, the same technology goes to even a small camera. There is no difference. In fact, this Mars satellite, I would say it was one of the simple Mars satellite. The Mars mission, the most important part was the tracking and the data collection. It is that you have to predict orbits, calculate the predict orbit using the Einstein's theory of gravitation in mind. And these small errors, because you have to, and that is where we had to take help of NASA, because they have an array of interferometric radars which can predict much more precisely. We don't have such a, because you need a synthetic aperture spread across India, and there's a lot in making that orbit prediction. And but then the people attach glamour to Mars mission, Moon mission, and all, because if I can go from the gravity 100 kilometer, I can go 1 lakh kilometer also. No mission to space scientists is a difficult mission or a very credible mission. Every mission is equally important, because all follow Newton's laws and Einstein's laws.
But does the space race affect ISRO?
Yeah, you see, there is a two aspects of space. One is that they're bringing benefits, because today, 5 days are there, but all the satellite communication today in one country, that was provided by ISRO. I think that was a very major contributions. Then the remote sensing satellites, military satellites, You see, these supports go very silently. So they say today, I'll tell you this example. At one time, what we used to you have to go to the STD booth and give a landline call. Then mobile, there is a mobile there. That back call is to you. You will be surprised to know that satellite play a role in mobile communication. From when a call goes from one state to another state, it goes from tower to satellite to back to another tower goes like that. And this all, we provided that's a major communication backbone. I think that is a very major success. If India, that is the Indian Railway, Indian bureaucracy, and ISRO's communication. And the other thing that one, that in our younger days, we used to find that this suddenly, the rice prices will go up or onion prices will go up. Nobody knows what is happening. But today you don't see, rice price year after year, childhood, it goes in a very normal inflation. It certainly doesn't go up. I remember that when the PL40 help was sought from America, that time the production went so down 1966 that the rice became 5 rupees kilo, and when the income was somewhere around rupees for the officers. And in those days, such things you do not see. You do not see that the rice, compared to that, the rice is now 40 rupees kg, but you have to see that it is like similar situations. You don't see that. You have not realized that today, because of an array of remote sensing satellites, we get an estimate of much before the crop is cut. And that it is so sensitive and secretive information that a government, based on this information, they book in the future market. Suppose they find that the rice production will go down, then they will book in future market the rice from Vietnam. If they find that the wheat production will go down 3 months before the prices, because that the India food prices will go down, they will simply hike their prices. Before they hike their prices, we buy from the future market, and that is why the market is kept stable. And today, another thing very close to my heart, the Amul has spread all over India. That is thanks to ISRO, because I had a good friendship with Dr. Sodhi, the CMD, and he used remote sensing technology to find out land for where the fodder crop can be grown. The fodder crop grows actually in a barren lands. It grows at 4 times a year, and it is more profitable than a paddy or wheat. And wherever the fodder crops are grown, that particular type of soil structure, all barren lands can be used for this fodder growth. There the animal husbandry is there. So when you get an Amul milk in the morning, you must thank ISRO satellites providing data of the fodder, which on daily basis, on which they accordingly nurture animal husbandry and cooperative movement in those places. You will not see, but you see that Amul has gone all over India, from Gujarat to today, everywhere in India they have gone. It is all using satellite and have grown. They estimate where the good fodder will be there, and those regions only they can trigger local people to go for animals.
So can you explain that the incident where you were poisoned and the secrecy that followed after that?
Oh, there is I have written it very extensively. Obviously, I have to eliminate that. many of the aspects of it. That it was very unfortunate that the government has come to know through my suffering that of them has been penetrated by our all types of academic and all type of system. They're penetrated by the foreign people. See, what is that? That the great economic war is going on. Everybody wants India to sell their products, but they don't want India to sell India's product to their market. You are good as a customer, but you are not welcome to have as a producer. So wherever they find that you are going to outstrip them in a certain technology, certain product, they will cut it. They do many methods, First thing they do, they will come to your colleges. There will be some professors from your colleges. From third year, fourth year, they will try to tell you, say you are good, you go to that university. Your future give you recommendation. So by 9-pointer from IIT, when it goes to the country's total loss is around 15 crore rupees. Because 9-pointer comes out of almost 10 lakh primary students, and the government of India spends that 10 lakh students, and they get eliminated every step. Many people drop out, then they will take the students to class 10 level, then class 12 level, and from that they get to IIT entrance. From IIT, maybe only the 5% gets the 9-pointer. So that 9-pointer when it goes, not that whatever the government spent in IIT on them is the loss. The whatever government to get that fellow there, government spent around 15 crores. I have always estimated. And money. Imagine that the Americans will getting one of the best of your brain, which could have stayed in your country, could have produced and made your life much better, our life much better. He gives you $10,000 per month salary and happily. Just see that how much saving they get. They do not have to invest. They do not have to invest on the cow. They do not have to invest on fodder. They simply take them and go. And the whole of country, our government, our taxpayers' money goes to, generating the fodder, rearing the cows, getting the milk, process it, and from that to get a cream, and we don't get the cream. Cream goes out, and we're left with the leftovers. So this is a one way of, that is the one very strategical. We may feel very happy. I have never gone for studying abroad, though I've gone many times to give and talk to many big universities and all. But I have steadfastly, I advise people to stay back in country, contribute it. You will find difficulty. But you will also, you take me an example that you can still outshine people here. There are difficulties, there will be, but everybody is not going to be well. And if you are making some technology which makes others earn out, second, you are also run, you are a second run, you are a third ranker, you are very happy, you will be clapped. We still today remember Olympics, not those who got the gold, who got bronze, who missed the bronze, and all we remember. Our country is confident, feels very pride. People who, not that who got the first position, we do not get. We say we missed the bronze in that Olympics, and all those things. We about it, we all of us feel good about it. They have done an excellent job. But the country is not going first. They cannot capture the world market. And they, I had to pay the price to bringing two things. One is that a radar which is better than the best. How come, India 1/10 of the fellows were selling it at 3,000, 4,000 crore rupees, Where will they do business? Our gullible people, our foolish industries will buy that at enormous cost and then siphoning of government money. If we build a radar at a very cheap cost, we'll be killing the market. Another thing, I had a game boost to building that a high throughput satellite. Before 5G came, that is the satellite or the communication satellite, the backhaul power can be increased. It's a car band with a 5 gigabit speed there. In fact, the satellite what is being designed now of an 80 gigabits. I have built with the 14 gigabits and all. And it will be, and a normal communication satellite like GSAT-7 or anything, they have a capacity of 1 gigabits per second. Imagine this, the 80 satellites built in one satellite, that power. And that is where, these two technologies I have trampled on the test. They have the people in country, they have how they buy people. What happens, that a scientist, a very acclaimed scientist with their worthless children are the most targeted people because their parents want their children to be as big as them. But how will in their country, he cannot go through that Jadavpur University, he cannot get the MTech, he cannot pass that gate. So then somebody will come, I will arrange your son this position there, some PhD under a good name, so that in future he will write. And then his career graph will go up. And and when I do that, I also, but you do the small things for us. You stop Tapan Misra. You throw out this man. You throw out this man. And that is how they have penetrated the system. They have penetrated it like in this academics. There are many professors, I'm sorry to say, who give you reco and hope that they will get one sabbatical in summer in some US university. There are, and you think what is so great, but just they got some 5 billion students. If I send 5 billion students, I'll give you one summer sabbatical there. That means you roam around in all those places and all. You will become, and you can tell your wife that I have brought you to these places. I took you to Niagara and all those things. And I showed you this thing in New York, then all these things we have showed you. This is one way. Another is that there are very big scientists, that children who have not studied well, but you see they are doing very well, fabulously there. That means that they are used. In fact, in ISRO, what we identify, it is they use those people. I don't want to get into names. They use those scientists who were very honest, who worked hard in their initial careers, but they came to a point, where they neglected their children, and suddenly they realized they have to establish their children. And what is the shortcut? That somebody comes and see what is there, we'll pay for that semester fees, we'll pay this a monthly thing, and pays you are prisoner and you do the small things. And this poisoning, it was supposed to kill me, fatal dose, and I was fortunate because I'll just explain to you what is arsenic poisoning. Arsenic is which replaces the iron in hemoglobin with an arsenic. It is exactly the mechanism like a corona. And then the hemoglobin is not able to carry oxygen. Then the RBC and the clogs are very small cells, small blood vessels. But what happened? Normally it is normally those who assassin, they target a small food after lunch, because when you take the lunch or dinner, heavy food, your duodenum, the stomach and duodenum, the bulb gets closed, and your food is boiled in hydrochloric acid. So if you are given us after that food, then your arsenic remains in your stomach. Then it goes to the bloodstream, and that nearest organs, what is the near the stomach? There's the heart and lungs. So both gets blocked, and once you get heart attack and you die. Kind of dose is there. The small blood, exactly that is the way that death occurs in corona. But in my case, I was lucky that day I did not take lunch. So when I took that food, it went all the way down, and I had a huge amount of bleeding. I had just barely managed to come get hospitalized, and I thought it was just some other thing, But then intelligence operatives came to my house, and they said that said you have been poisoned. We will take you to right doctors and all. So I'm thankful to the government of India. They took me to doctors all around there. And then I survived, but I suffered almost for 2 years. It is like, that is all small blood vessels locked. So just like it happens in corona, you will get a fungal infection, you will get heart attack, you will get lungs fibrosis and all, and it has to be. Then a huge treatment had to go. But of it, government now design, it is not very military leader, but targeting a scientist and all, you will actually taking the country backwards. Then other fellows will think that, you see, Tapan Misra tried to do something new, got into. Why should I try now? Better do what I earns my salary and be happy with that. But it was a wake-up call for government, and as far as I know, the government has done a huge search operation of these people, and then they have started taking actions and all, and today is not so. In fact, one of the MNC, I am very happy to note that who played a role in my assassination attempt, big chunk of communication market has now been stalled by government from even coming to India. So that I don't want to name it because, if you read newspapers last 2 weeks, you will come to know. So this is that one, and it's a big, in countries, in a very industrialist countries, the academia, industry, and intelligence agencies, they operate together. You will not find what is the distinction between them. When you see that, but it is not happening in India. India, the academic people, they don't know, they don't work for the countries because all them together they have to work. And you will find that and comes here, he's well versed on the strategic thinking. But of course, he talks about this science, that paper, that thing. He's not talking for a science which benefits country. He will go and do a PhD which will benefit that country. He will not go and select a topic which will benefit our country. But that doesn't happen with an American scholar. And he goes comes to India, even if he becomes a disciple of any godman and all, that is simple to sell his records there in that country. So they think in a strategic way. And we feel very gala. They came, used our thinking, our philosophy, and started selling in their own country. But we do not do that. We go, work there, we make their country bigger, and we give occasional big victory, and our country, everybody claps. No, this man is head of this big conglomerate. You look at whether he has benefited your country or not. You see there is a big zero. But our country, somehow, we are accustomed. Our media, journalists, and all have been penetrated such a way, they will go and clap that man. I don't want to take a name of big, who occasionally comes and takes a train ride, and you make a big YouTube and he does nothing for your country. But if the people who do for this country, if you do anything for this country, staying in this country, people think it must have been easy. That is why he has done. I think that is a bit, but this attitude is changing. The government is now they have been making this, but it's a big thing. You cannot correct it overnight. You can always catch one fellow and give him, one patient, because I consider these sort of people a patient. I catch those patients and take it to hospital, that is jail, and put it. Not that this infection has spread so much. There are so many patients. So you have to first contain that infection. If we do not contain that infection, our own scientists, our academia, our professor, unknowingly and unwittingly will become their pawn, will serve their purpose. Well, I use the word they because it is not only one country. There are many other countries, and you can see that they in origin. You see how our country fellows depend. That there are 9 Indian scientists located that the COVID virus has some insertion, AIDS virus, RNA insertion is there. But you see, nobody supported them. Today, Fauci is telling that they were right. He's apologized to them. But in our country, nobody supported, when they were told they were lying and all, nobody supported them. Today, things are coming rightly now. Even US president is forced to re-inquire new and all. So that is a good thing. It has happened. But unfortunately, our supported them.
Who was involved specifically in your case? Like, was it a country? Was it an organization?
I'll tell you, it was a country. And again, I told you that in those countries, which have the economically progress, their academia, industry, and intelligence agencies and politics, they all work together. You will not know who is part of what. But in our country, so it was basically funded by an industry, MNC, but as a as a front line of another country's intelligence agencies.
Can you name the country?
No, I don't. I have given sufficient indications. They use, in fact, they used their, say, whenever they harm you, they never bring their own citizens. They bring one Indian in those countries to harm you. In fact, they used one of their professors from one of the topmost university to threaten me. Then to give a lollipop, they will put my son a laureate, PhD, who's my son doesn't never listen to me. He does his own job and business and all. But they wanted to build his career in future. Anybody will be tempted. You keep your mouth shut and don't open your mouth. So don't tell that you survived and all. And we'll take care of your son. We'll take care of your future. Tomorrow they'll give you many more awards also. Nowadays, I'm suspicious of all the foreign awardees. You get award by foreign countries when you do good for country, when you actually destroy the country. But after all, why they should give you an award? I am telling very bitter way, but this is the fact. It is that they always use an Indian front. And you'll see that many of these universities, foreign universities, you see, very old Indian professors say, they hardly contribute, but they actually further their agenda, picking up another Indian country. Because taking away the cream of our society to that country is actually one way of destroying our country. Imagine that fellow who is heading Google, had it been made a Google in our country, what would have happened? Country, so many Indians would have got a very good job. See, Chinese have their own Google equivalent, Baidu. We don't have. So we have to be at the mercy. At best, we take out, this law, that law. If you don't follow, you put some officer there and that officer there, some compliance officer and all to face saving. But then it should have been, we should have our own Twitter, our own Facebook, our own Google. But then, our boys will do that in their country, not do in our country. We have to take away the creams. All the creams go there. So what is left, only very few people like me with a very stellar academic career and all to stay. I don't think that the academic career is the only thing in life. But this is that what will remain. Very few remain. So I always exhort younger people who are watching this program that please stay in the country, contribute to it, and don't get deterred that something wrong happened to me. But there are many good things happened. You must think that a country stood behind me. They have not left me at a mercy of street dogs. So they stood behind me, and the government has a compulsion. Government is doing job, and you can contribute much better, and you will be respected. In fact, I am respected for synthetic aperture radar because I built it in India. Had I been done the same thing in USA, they would have told, okay, this MIT has a good environment, JPL has a good environment. There, even a donkey will do the job of a horses. But unfortunately, yesterday I was hearing, somebody was telling, he summarized our country's thing. घोड़े खाए गधे च्यवनप्राश. So we must, if that is happened, if our ghodes, go to their country to graze, then we have to give च्यवनप्राश to gadhas to here. Because our ghodes are going to eat grass in those countries. Had they stayed, they would have actually taken च्यवनप्राश. So the घोड़े खाए घास, who feel very happy, parents get, one Nike shoe, this, that, one cap, Puma cap and all, the parents are all happy. My son and daughter has succeeded. But the घोड़े खाए घास are either गधे च्यवनप्राश.
But attack on top scientists of India is nothing new. We have there is controversy regarding the deaths of Vikram Sarabhai, Homi Bhabha.
Yes.
There's also the case of Nambi Narayanan.
No.
Why
The Nambi Narayanan was lucky.
Yes.
Nambi Narayanan was, I would consider him lucky. At least nobody attempted on his life. He was jailed, tortured and all. But to me, they have attempted on it. So you see that Nambi Narayanan case, they have nicely cloaked under one, a very calumny. So everybody believed that calumny. Everybody forgot his career. Then all the newspapers also supported the, and nobody understood the game. The game was understood much later by Supreme Court and the intelligence agencies. But in my case, there may be many such scientists who have died. But I am that fortunate or the unfortunate one for them who survived to tell the story. And, this one survivor, when they tells a story, it saves many more lives. Because they get alerted, the government becomes cautious. Happens. in the country. And it saved many lives, I can only tell you.
Does ISRO also play a role in the national security?
Oh, you see that national security is no different from the civil security. If I provide a food security to the country, it is also part of national security. If I provide a continuous interactivity, it is also national security. Imagine in Kolkata, no, one is not available for a week. What will happen? Everything, from electric supply to railways to everything, to all whatever food, to everything will crumble. So when we provide a broadband support, communication continuous basis, on a reliable basis, it's a national security. When we provide imaging, it's national security. If I get 1 meter resolution image, I can locate what is happening in the India-China border, what is happening. But I can also locate how much the road has been constructed by the contractor, whether the charging government or not. When I save the government exchequer, I am supporting national security. When I locate that the intrusion in Chinese border, that also national security. Security is, is a fully worded. It is not something separate. Or when if the Amul milk, is not available in Kolkata, what will happen? Everything will crumble. Morning, all the tea will be disturbed. So, is that providing milk reliably, flawlessly, without infecting anybody is a big security.
This will be my last question. What
Yes.
what message would you give to the young people of the country?
I have two messages. One is that today's, there is a option of learning has changed. At our time, it was the professor who could teach. Today, without going to the classes, also you can learn the same subject. There are so much avenues are available. You can any subject to feel like your life. There is nothing like a specialized subject. I do that. What we need today is a job of engineering or making an engine. Let us say I make an CNC machine. I need to know how to write CNC software. I have to know how the electrical drive. I have to do the mechanical design, guide systems, and all of those things. So, if all the three qualities are a better CNC designer than the 3% with better qualities. So, today's date, engineering, science, there is nothing one. Whatever is needed for this, implementing your job or your idea, whatever learning is needed, you can learn. And you are lucky today, you don't have to go to the colleges or pay heavily. You can get the same education in MIT or IIT Kharagpur to anyone from Burdwan district or Uttar Pradesh. So that is so. Please try to do a self-learning. That is the must thing. That is self-learning, and learn whatever is appeal yourself. If it is like a dress design, please learn. If it is learning hair cutting styles, please learn it. If it is learning something, how to wade in clogged water, please learn it because it will be useful in Calcutta. So I must say that there should not be any end to learning, and the self-learning is the best learning. Do not depend on only from colleges and all. And second, that message I have to all of you is that in life, it is not the learning is education is the only thing. You can learn what is science. Science is the learning how the nature works. We are all learning, we are all science, mathematics, physics, all subjects are developed, how the stars evolve. They are all nature, no? How the cyclones form, so it is from the nature. So our objective of learning is how to learn our nature, how to observe things. We must observe, we must see things, because seeing is. And last but not the least, advise people, please stay back in India, try to contribute. There are immense opportunities in the country. I must say that even my son, when he came out from IIT Kanpur, I was the first person to dissuade him to go to USA. And today, he is a moderately successful entrepreneur. He is employing people, tens of people, who all the family members and all he could feed. I think that is the biggest pleasure, when you not only feed your mouth, you feed many more mouths with a different strata. And I will exhort all of you, given a chance, be a self-made man, self-made woman, and be your own boss. Make your own industry. You make your own thing and sell. And then only by being an employee, you can go slightly away, but you can go miles ahead. And some come out an Ambani, some of you can come out Adani. Until unless you try, 10 people tries, one will become Ambani, one will become Adani, and others will also earn quite heavily. And most important, you will be feeding so many people. I have a great respect for Ambani and Adani, because they feed people's families. I think that is the greatest service to the country. What is the end of the day? It is the service to the country. So I, given a chance, try to explore the entrepreneur facilities. Just because you are doing a job, you should not lose interest in being an entrepreneur. Because today's opportunities are there. In our time, we didn't have opportunities. There were no Tappan Mister trying to tell you to become entrepreneur. They will all tell you, go and teach the class with a blackboard. It's a good job, because somebody is not teaching, you will not do that. But being entrepreneur is the need of the country, because the country needs them. Country now needs more employers, because there are no employees, isn't it?